think finally meeting women composers my own age, it was sort of easier to ask questions that maybe I was too shy to ask teachers or composers that were older, more experienced. So there's the fear that you kind of ask a question that seems like you don't know what you're talking about or what you're doing. And I suppose with Creative Lab, the participants between the ages of 12 to 18, so that kind of age group, you working with a mentor at that age is so pivotal, because you can ask these questions that maybe even in the classroom or other environments you don't want to ask in front of groups of people, and having that one-to-one connection, we can talk about whatever you like. There will be conversations in the tuition that, yes, will be about your piece and different kinds of music, but we can also talk about whatever influences there are for your pieces as well, in sort of an informal and comfortable environment. And I think that's sort of what we got from each other rather than other environments, I think.
Yeah, I think also having a community of people that have diverse backgrounds and just approach composition in a different way, being able to learn from each other is really important. And I think having a community of like-minded people is something that we're trying to foster with the Creative Lab, because for me, I think I grew up with the notion that you have to have dots on a page and that's how you compose. And as we've both kind of gone through various different programs and festivals and met various composers along the way, you start to see that there are so many ways to write music, and my idea of what composition is changing every day. And I think we want to have an environment that is as open to different ways of communicating your ideas as possible. So that's something that we're really excited about, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you mentioned dots on a page and notation, and we sort of mentioned in the launch of this that there's no need for participants to be able to read music. And for that reason, that's why the mentorship will be so important, because we can talk about, there's so many different ways that you can put your ideas down on paper, or how you can communicate that to musicians. And I suppose there has been a standard way in music composition and a standard route where there is a tendency to focus on notation and dots on a page, and that kind of presents, I suppose, a sort of a barrier to some people. I think at times a lot of the trajectory in Ireland anyway is that you take your music lessons, and in that you maybe do your music theory, and there's training involved in that. And I know at the beginning when I was interested in music, that was a barrier to me, because music lessons are expensive, and they're not available to everyone. So there can be kind of opportunities that are missed there, maybe in performance, or being able to sort of get ideas down and write music through that route. And I suppose with Creative Lab then we're opening that up. So whether you are taking music lessons or whether you're not, there's so many different ways to write music.